So a much brighter start for the Slovak in this second set. So Henman will have to keep playing to the same standard that he did in the first set if he's going to contain hrbaty. Hrbaty's starting to get a little more success, especially on the second serve of Henman. More unforced errors creeping into the British #1's play at the moment. It's now level with hrbaty in terms of number of unforced errors, 13 apiece. And this is the first time in the match that Henman's trailed love 30 on his serve.
Well, that forehand right on the same sideline that he received a bad call on, or what he felt was a bad call early on. I almost sensed, gosh, is he going to call that out too?
Henman's used the kick serve for me as well as I've ever seen him use it.
Yeah, it's really taking a tremendous hop off this surface, and hrbaty is not comfortable with it. He has not adjusted to it on that, particularly on the backhand side.
Henman there deciding to deliver the heat. 119 mph ace down the middle, his second of the match. And again, the forehand in perfect working order, and a nice recovery there from Henman. He's in a little bit of trouble down love 30, but he squares things up.
Yeah, professional response to a difficult situation. And if you're a returning player and you're up love 30, you feel this is your time and your chance. And it was Henman instead who snatched up the game.
Wonderful athleticism. Hrbaty hit a shot there right to line. Not quite sure what that was about. Interesting that hrbaty says about his tennis right now that he's playing a lot more relaxed even than when he was 13 in the world. He said he felt it put too much pressure on himself back then to reach the top 10 and was so close. Had 3 match points against Juan Carlos Ferrer in Dubai to reach the top 10. Hrbaty, who said at the beginning of this year that his goal was to get inside the top 50 again. Currently residing at 23 in the world.
Yeah, he's reaching some of those goals, and he's recommitted himself to his career. Back in '99, he finished the year at 21, and then in 2000, he was 17. Now that's bad luck. He put himself in a good position there, Henman. Just to get back to hrbaty, but since that year, back in 2000, his ranking has gradually slipped. And the real turning point for him, I thought, was last year when he beat Roddick in a Davis Cup match in Bratislava. I really feel that's what has compelled him to regain his form. Slovakia ended up losing that Davis Cup tie, but that win, something special, no doubt, for hrbaty.
Not the cleanest hit from Henman off the return, but certainly effective.
Now that's bad luck. He put himself in a good position there, Henman. Just to get back to hrbaty, but since that year, back in 2000, his ranking has gradually slipped. And the real turning point for him, I thought, was last year when he beat Roddick in a Davis Cup match in Bratislava. I really feel that's what has compelled him to regain his form. Slovakia ended up losing that Davis Cup tie, but that win, something special, no doubt, for hrbaty.
Not the cleanest hit from Henman off the return, but certainly effective. Elected to try and get hrbaty up into the forecourt, but unable to pull off the pass. And 5 games have gone past in this second set, and there's no breaks to serve. 3-2 hrbaty.
Video player, bright color display, Bluetooth connectivity. In the Nokia 6230 phone. Nokia, connecting people.
My name's Lance Corporal Graham Weston, and I know that when you're on operations, there's certain people that you want to keep in with, and a lot of them are in the Territorial Army. The posties, the drivers, the vehicle mechanics, and especially the chefs like me. More pepper! As a TA specialist supporting the Army, I bring my skills as a chef from Civvy Street here to use here, and in return they give me skills I can use here. 19 days a year on regular Army pay. Interested? Go to ta.mod.uk for your free TA guide.
So Henman desperate to reach his first ever Super Saturday, and it would only be achieved if he can wade his way through Wet Wednesday here at Flushing Meadows. He's made a great start, but hrbaty starting to show the signs of sort of tennis he can play. The sort of tennis that brought him 3 titles before the month of March. The last person to do that was Ivan Lendl back in 1990. Lendl that year won the Australian Open, the Milan title, and the Toronto indoor title. Get the feeling that the conditions are just a little heavier tonight. No real surprise because of the rain that's been in the air, a little damper. And certainly that's contributed to the lack of aces. And then up until this match had served 56 aces in his 4 matches. It's a great stretch, and again, a little fortunate off the tape.
It's interesting you mentioned Lendl, the last player who won 3 titles. I mean, he was king of New York for so many years after the John McEnroe era. 8 times consecutive years from 82 to 89, a finalist or a champion here at the US Open.
Second double fault for Henman. Hrbaty still unable to create a break point against the British man's serve.
Well, Henman is serving well when he needs to. Anytime you're 30-15 or just within a point of your opponent, those are big points. So now he's got a little breathing room here at 40-15.
A lot of Hrbaty's shots are directed up the middle of the court as well. Not somebody that sort of takes the ball on and really trying to dominate you off the return. I was saying there was a dearth of aces, but Henman there finding another one.
Yeah, he really did locate that so beautifully. And you know, Henman's game isn't all about power, just 119 miles an hour, but talk about location. His game's about real estate. You know what they say, location, location, location.
Hrbaty put some of his early success down this year to the fact that back in Bratislava they've got a brand new national tennis centre, something they've never had before. He reckons it's one of the best in the world. 5 indoor courts, a gym, building a hotel. Said there's a great environment there, all the Slovaks practicing together.
Well, right before that double fault, Hrbaty had produced his fastest ace, 133 miles an hour. And then his second double fault.
As you saw, the spectator just disrupting Hrbaty's rhythm. Three in a row.
Well, he served his way into a lead, and now he's served his way out of it. 3 unreturnable serves and 3 more unreturnable serves.
Oh, and he saves himself again with Henman putting the pressure on.
Yeah, Hrbaty was lucky there. Henman opting to go inside out, but Hrbaty holds his ground, and he sees that line beautifully.
Barty finds the first serve, and after a difficult game for the Slovak, he survives. Still no breaks in this second set. So the first real pressure moment on Henman's service games. Up till now, he's been in a good position, pretty relaxed, but one bad service game here would leave hrbaty serving to take the second set. And an inauspicious start for the British number one. hrbaty fires the pass, and Henman in trouble on his serve.
Now see, there's Henman opting to go into the forehand, a side that can break down. But hrbaty able to produce a cross-court winner that time.
Some serve from Henman. His third ace in this set. For the second time in this set, has got himself behind in the count on his serve, and just pressure mounting. You wouldn't think it after those couple of serves.
Yeah, and this is the kind of tennis Henman's been producing. He just seems to answer the bell at the big moments. Love 30 down, a couple of aces to get back to 30 all.
Oh yes, the wrong footing shot. Some clutch play by Henman.
And again, the first serve opening up the court and giving him some options. And he selects to come back to the forehand. And hrbaty was off to the races into the backhand corner.
Three aces get Henman out of trouble. And we're at 4-all in the second.
Well, that's what it takes to beat guys like hrbaty. You know, there are just times when you have to come up with something good, take the racket out of his hand. There's a good look at some of the seeping of water settling in underneath the stadium here. And Jake Gardner, I heard him actually say to the ball boys, don't stand in the water, because then the ball boys will run out onto the court. And you can see it's actually streaming now right out onto the court. It's like a bad, scary movie. The ooze coming from underneath the stadium.
Schultz. No, you can come back.
It's certainly sorted out some of the problems on this court with regards to the drainage problems they had from last year, but not obviously all of them. Similar sort of game as Henman faced last time he was returning serve. hrbaty jumping out into a good lead. This time, no way back into it. In stark contrast, hrbaty delivers an ace at 40 love. So the number 22 seed, a game away from levelling up this quarter-final encounter. Just over the hour gone. Henman serving, set to the good, but trailing 4-5. This is the 5th service game of this second set, and in 4 of them he's got himself behind early on. Done so again here. He anticipated it, but hrbaty with too much power on that forehand. I've got to question whether Henman can keep dragging himself out of these service games. He's hit a couple of key second serves out wide.
Yeah, and that's how he's done it. Serve aggressively. It's one of his best shots, so be aggressive and use it well. It's no doubt something he learned from Pete Sampras. He was so effective in using the first and second serves to win key points.
It was a little late, but it was the correct call. Henman had a long way to run to get it on the forehand side. Just a little late getting there. In trouble. 2 set points for hrbaty. Again, Henman going into the forehand.
Well, that was such a key rally from the back. Boy, the pressure was on Henman, and he outdueled hrbaty from the back of the court. And you can see Henman respects hrbaty's game. He's very selective about when he attacks the net, so he's having to do some very difficult work outdueling him from the back.
So this is the first game that hrbaty has been able to create some breakpoint opportunities. They happen to be set points, and this a third one. And Henman again responds.
So good. That is such a good serve. That hit the court and accelerated outside the doubles alley. Just 115 miles an hour, but boy, it skidded beautifully. Stung it.
That's a good close from henman. And again, quick to get his feet up the court.
Now you had to be sharp. Hrbaty returned beautifully.
henman saves 3 set points. A pivotal game, you feel, in the context of this match.
Oh, in context of the set and the match. I mean, that's the kind of game Hrbaty wins it, wins the set, and races to the finish line.
Joel, can you help me, please?
Instead, henman in with a chance
Lester, can you get
instead to win this set and grab control of the match entirely.
Again, just trying to sort of mop up some of that moisture that's seeping in from the edge, and henman, well, he'll be a relieved man right now. Well, he fashioned an escape, henman. Has Hrbaty been able to put that disappointment behind him? It wouldn't seem so after the first point of this game.
Boy, Hrbaty doing some fine, boy, just moving henman around, and again, not overhitting, more consistent. Yeah, he's sharp now.
Oh yes, that's what henman's all about.
Wow, this is, what can you say? I mean, how does he come up with this, and how does he end the point with it? Finds the racket face, creates the angle, and a little 360. He did that with a little flair.
That's a courageous smash from the Slovak. Not always that easy under the lights at night time.
Courageous, that must be code for kind of lucky. I mean, he's not very comfortable overhead. Difficult play, and he made it.
And again, henman has implemented his favourite strategy to perfection. Didn't hit it too hard, just about the right pace, got a good position there. And the tables have turned quite dramatically in this second set. So that's 5 times that Hrbaty has saved a break point in the second set. How crucial will that be to the outcome of this match? And again, henman weaving his sort of magic.
Yeah, and again, putting hrbaty in some awkward positions. I mean, the Slovak player is not comfortable playing a one-handed backhand or a stretch volley.
Yes, henman scores with a forehand. hrbaty perhaps a little unlucky. The net cord sat up so invitingly, but when the opportunity presented itself, henman was big enough to take it, and he'll come out and serve for a 2-sets-to-love lead. As he serves for the second set, it has to be noted he hasn't had a lot of easy service games in this set. Dearly love one now. Just forcing hrbaty to play one extra shot.
Yeah, he stole away a point he should have lost. And hrbaty, well, that's an inexcusable error. He had plenty of room to play the backhand into. Great effort from henman to stay alive.
They're the frustrating errors, and the pressure on hrbaty, and it's telling. He's got to come up with the play. He's chasing the score.
It was very close. I saw space from here.
A solid return from hrbaty. Yeah, there are times in this match when henman doesn't get the first serve in. hrbaty makes him pay the price, and that was one there. henman doing well to stay alive in the rally, but not good enough that time.
Great coverage again from henman. Testing return from the Slovak. And henman on the brink of taking a 2-sets lead here. It's been a shot that's won him some important points over the course of these last 10 days.
Well, when the most pressure's on, take your time. henman wisely getting his towel, collecting his thoughts. No doubt looking to make a first serve happen right here.
His fourth double, and what a vital moment to serve it. hrbaty saves one of the break points. He's set points. He's gifted the other one. And we're back at deuce. It's paid big dividends for henman in this second set. The serve out wide to the hrbaty forehand. He's got lots of cheap points off it. And will it be third time lucky for henman? And Tim Henman, who had to save 3 set points on his own serve in the second set, manages to convert on his third set point. And Henman just a set away from getting into the semi-finals of the US Open. But there's still work to be done. And in some ways, the fact that hrbaty did come back from 2 sets to love down in the previous round, well, actually, there's still a little confidence in the Slovak.
Well, hrbaty is an excellent athlete. He is in great shape. He'll go the distance tonight. Fatigue will not be a factor for this man.
And henman not completely satisfied with the call, but it's irrelevant at 40 love. And hrbaty off to a good start in this third set.
Yeah, in this kind of matchup, a quarterfinals of a slam, that might elicit a roar when you win that first game, but instead you get polite clapping, kind of like at your matches, Patch. But you know, for these players having to deal with it, it's a real challenge because they have to generate all their intensity themselves from within. The crowd is not building up the intensity of the moments.
In fact, the only time I used to get clapping is if I had my coach with me.
Well, at least you had one person supporting you.
Henman has got a whole nation supporting him. Do you think that Henman's fast start is due to the fact that he just has better hand skills in many ways? It was easier for him to come out and just time the ball?
A little bit. I think there's something to it. I think also he has a very fundamental strategy on the key points. He's forcing hrbaty to beat him with his worst shot, the forehand. And he's won all the important points, seemingly, from that tactic.
Thanks. Stay right there, please.
Good finish at the net for hrbaty.
One of the few times that hrbaty has produced a solid finishing play at the net. Yes, a tricky ball. Henman handled it well.
Again, Henman's being so selective about when he served and volleyed. This time, did it beautifully. Henman's still a little focused on what he perceived as a slightly tight call off his first serve. He doesn't want to open a door at all for hrbaty.
That's good, thank you.
And every single time he's been in danger on his serve this evening, he's found the right shot, whether that be an ace or forehand, and it saved the day. That now his 7th ace of the match. And Henman still yet to be broken after almost an hour and a half.
And that's one way to perceive this match too. If Henman can always hold his serve, he will just multiply the pressure on hrbaty's serve, and that's where hrbaty is vulnerable. Yeah, he'll serve some aces and win some easy games on his serve, but 4-all, 5-all, get into the later stages of a set, and that serve will break down.
Love the team.
The two men have reached the quarterfinals here at Flushing Meadows, and Greg Krzyzewski, as we well know, back in 1997 managed it. The other one was John Lloyd, lost to Jimmy Connors in 1984.
Now that's a great chip and charge, and there again, the first serve in the net, second serve short in the box, and Henman made hrbaty pay. It's a heavy price when you miss your first serve against Henman.
Next, first serve.
And again, there's that gorgeous little change up from Henman. So much disguise.
Yeah, it's a tactic he uses a lot when he's playing on clay. We saw it at the French Open. We've seen it at Monte Carlo and some of the major clay court events. And now on the hard court, working it perfectly against hrbaty.
2 break points for Henman. And a double fault, and it's donated the break for Tim Henman, and he's taken a massive step towards reaching the semi-finals here. The British #1 leading by 2 sets to love and a break. Henman knew his opponent today would be tricky. He's reached the quarterfinals of 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams. He's a class competitor, but at the moment Henman dominating him.
Second serve. Love the team.
First one just clipped the top of the tape, and he was unable to make the adjustment for the next serve. And Henman's 5th double. Can't be a whole lot of belief in the Slovaks camp that he's going to be able to turn this thing around. Henman needs to, again, keep the door firmly shut. Tactically, it's been such an astute match from Henman. There's no answer to that type of play.
Yeah, he's been really reading the passing shots so well. Good footwork and good vision, responding, and making sure that racket face is carving that volley softly.
So for hrbaty at the moment, whose nickname is the Dominator, he knows exactly what that feels right now. Henman continues his serene progress through to Super Saturday.
Hrbaty is a guy you have to reckon with, even if you are this far ahead. When he made that run in France, French Open, getting the semi, took out Kafelnikov, Rios, Safin. Kafelnikov, the #1 seed there.
Well, Lee, for me, the most impressive thing about Henman's play in this entire tournament and how he has taken away his opponent's second serve, you know, used it to his advantage. I mean, he's been winning the point 54% of the time, which is a huge percentage when you consider, you know, the majority of these guys' second serves.
Now this would be a nice game to capture by a little insurance policy.
Henman's actually made more unforced errors than his opponent this evening, but he's made more than double the amount of winners.
Well, Henman utilizing some of Hrbaty's tactics, just putting the ball up the middle of the court and forcing the Slovak #1 to come up with something. And more often than not, he's found the net. another painfully close call on that sideline. We've seen a number of them over there today. Worked the point beautifully. Just missing.
Deuce.
And there's no doubt when you have a ball toss as high as hrbaty's that when you start losing a little bit of confidence in it, it can rapidly get away from you.
Yeah, and I'll take on a player like that in a serving battle who can hold serve.
And there's no doubt that some of the pressure hrbaty feels on his second serve is because of the pressure being exerted by Henman.
Yeah, that second serve had just enough skid. It didn't come up high, so Henman couldn't chip down.
Henman can't pull his forehand into court, and hrbaty survives. Another siege on his serve. But it's still just the one break for Henman. 3-2, third set.